Hey, welcome back. Today I want to do a quick video for a generative AI application that I think is groundbreaking. I'm actually sad that I haven't explored this until now. The quick use case, at least for me, that worked miracles is I've always wondered how I can depict a picture when I'm trying to do a presentation to a client. I'm actually even trying to talk to an interviewer, explain my thoughts. I wish there is an app out there while I'm writing down sentences or talking through some of the points. Is there an app that can help me depict the picture, visualize what I'm trying to say? Most of the cases, visualizing or a picture sends out a much more clearer image, or content is more transparent and helpful to understand if there is a picture to communicate rather than a bunch of sentences. Yes, probably I can do a good job with practice over time by putting together my thoughts, being very structured and organized, but a picture takes the message one extra mile. And I think that's true for not just me, for everybody out there. So let's talk through this new application I have discovered. It's called Napkin.ai. What it does is you put together some thoughts and it can depict a picture that you can actually explain as you go. In this context, I want to talk about a product sense interview that I've taken recently at Meta. I really wished I can talk through my thoughts and actually put down a picture or a chart on my whiteboard, but it was kind of impossible in the 10 to 15-minute time frame I've had. I know and want to explain more details and nitty-gritties to be concise and at the same time be accurate, but that was not quite possible. So let's get to this problem and see how Napkin.ai can make a difference, but at least for interviewers. Let's get to it. I'm going to talk about a particular product sense question I've had in my recent interviews at Meta. They asked a question around how will you design a product? Walk me through some of the hypotheses. How will you tie that hypothesis to the mission and broader objective of Meta? And then walk me through some of the metrics, which is, I think, the actual content that the interviewer is trying to understand from my talking points. What are the primary metrics, secondary metrics, guardrail metrics, and how will I draw a conclusion, or what are the key problems I can anticipate, and how will I solve them? Right. This is the high-level roadmap. I have put down those thoughts, and we'll see how Napkin.ai will actually picturize that and make it more effective to communicate. Let's get to it. So I'm going to copy my question here. My question or the content I put together is give me 6-step framework visual drawing for tackling a Meta products design case interview to design a journey app. So let's say Meta is trying to design a journey app where products, let's title this project as product sense case interview at Meta. So I'm trying to answer this question in a methodical, concise, and also accurate. Do not want to go into deeper or nitty-gritties if the interviewer doesn't really want me to. But at the same time, I want to cover as much ground as possible, specifically focusing on the key aspects like what are the metrics I would consider, why I'm considering those metrics, and how it's going to be beneficial from a business impact standpoint. So this is the content I pasted here on napkin.ai. So if you see this blue button here, it's going to help me visualize and give a picture. So this is my 6-step roadmap that I want to talk about during my interview. So it gives a very innovative way to help structure your thoughts, and you can really explain your roadmap this way. So I'm going to select this design, which is going to be simple. So I have that 6-step process. I do want to understand the problem, define user personas, brainstorm ideas in order to generate some solutions, prioritize some of the features, and then go ahead and design user flows. The prototype, which I want to test before going into market, which is an A/B test in this context, would be relevant. Of course, it goes back to the problem of what are my test audience and what am I really going to test, things like that. So I've selected this one as my first step, which is what I'm trying to communicate, the roadmap. And now coming down to the second question. So some of the clarifying questions I do want to ask ahead of time, right after I go through the go over the roadmap. So the high level questions I have for the interviewer, for starters, is when are they really trying to launch this product? It may not be relevant for some of the use cases or product sense questions, but make sure the questions are very relevant and think about why you're asking the question you're asking. So if it is a quick product launch, there is a budget associated with it. Whether they're trying to only launch it in one marketplace, such as USA, or multiple marketplaces, what is the reason and rationale behind that? So that's pretty good. So I'm going to, I think there are multiple options as you hover over these options, right? I don't want to complicate too much, but I do like this particular aspect, which I'm going to click on, and this is saved. So I'm going to think about the product launch, development phase, testing phase, and the planning phase, right? So this is a much easier picture for me to help understand and jot down my thoughts. So as we move on, you can also talk about the mission of Meta. Yes, I do want to tie the product sense to the mission of Meta, bigger and product objective. So I do, I can hover over the multiple options again and think about this. Community power. I do like this as this one, which talks about, okay, I'm going to select that. So Meta's community building, this is showing a simple pyramid where bring people closer together is the bigger mission of Meta. We always want to highlight the mission in any product sense interview, and build stronger community and develop a sense of belongingness. And in a way, you're engaging the customer at a much deeper level by creating that community bond. Empower community by giving them the power, like helping them create their own content, such as Instagram, Facebook, so they can create their own videos, create their own photos and reels and other content. So you're giving the community the power to build, and that is going to and share with their network of friends, family. That's going to help them bind together and bring them closer together. So this is a perfect diagram. I cannot anticipate or do it in a couple of seconds, especially the way it can automate and do it right on the spot in accurately depicting your thoughts into a diagram or a picture, right? So that is fascinating to me. So let's come down here. I do want to talk about the mission of the product. I'm going to skip that in the interest of time. But the three steps I do want to understand: the key business goals, which is important, defining the goals. So I'm going to do that. These are the business goals. Um, I do want to talk about the business goals, and I want to highlight about why some of these business goals are important and how they could be interrelated. Retention, engagement, adoption. This is a clean one. I do want to talk about that, and I'm going to select this because it's helpful for me to understand. You can certainly improve this and modify this as you have time. But here I'm just trying to go over some of the key aspects. So let's say I do want to summarize. So we started with a roadmap. This is what I want to do. I want to understand the problem, ask some clarifying questions, define some customer personas, depending on the problem you're trying to solve for. In this case, a customer journey problem. Brainstorm some of the ideas which could help improve this product. Prioritize some of the features among the brainstormed ideas and understand the user flow, why some of the features can be helpful in a view to understand some of the pitfalls, and then how will you design a prototype and test before taking them into production. That's very clear. The picture takes it a long way, help them understand the nitty-gritties, but not really spending too much time. If you don't have this picture, you're going over the content over and over again and not making it very clear. So the second phase, the product launch timeline, this is a follow-up question, but having an understanding of if there is a timeline of 6 months, how are you going to plan it? Simple diagram which will help you understand and get to the goal. And then you have a meta's bigger and broader objective mission that you're going to help them understand, and why this particular journey app is going to help create or enhance the mission of Meta. And that's why this journey app is a good vision to have under the family of products that Meta already has. That's why you can explain why this building this product is important and aligns with the mission of Meta. And now I'm coming to the business goals. So we do want to focus on retention, engagement, and adoption. Since this is a brand new app, and even though there is an existing community, there is 3 billion plus and counting Facebook users, 3 billion plus monthly active users, at least in Facebook. I believe in Instagram, they're about 2 billion plus. I want to say adoption is going to be my key priority. And at the same time, measuring retention rate will be helpful. So adoption is number one, and then try and measure retention of how many of the customers in the funnel are continuing to engage with the Journey app 7 days from the adoption, 14 days from the adoption, 21 days from the adoption. That is more creating a segue into defining the primary and secondary metrics. So we set the business goals. Now I want to talk through some of the success metrics, right? So new signups, that is very well in line with the business goals that we talked about earlier, the adoption and retention. I do want to select a relevant diagram which could make sense and help understand. Okay, so I think this is great. I'm going to select this. This is going to help me walk through my thought process about why high engagement, high signups is important. Yes, that is adoption. We're going to focus that as one of the primary goals. The depth of engagement is kind of important. That it will govern their retention rate, kind of creating a stickiness in the program. So low engagement, what are the actions you can take? You can go back and understand the root cause of low engagement. The signups, or there could be latency issues. They're not able to log in and engage with the content. That's operational issues, or maybe they are not so interested about they don't have a good understanding of what the journey app is how the journey app is going to help them complete their itinerary, right? So those are some of the aspects. So now breaking down the customer personas, that is going to be helpful. So I'm going to select a relevant diagram for that as well. I'm going to select personas. I think these personas were very helpful. Okay, these are great. So now I'm able to help understand the personas as well. So that's taken care of, and now I can simply talk about what aspects out of the personas that I want to focus on, given the business impact value and value addition. That's going to wrap up my case study and help understand. So I'm going to prioritize a real-time pro traveler who is well versed with what to expect and what to avoid during the travel to that particular destination. This is especially important to families traveling with pets or children. So that's a niche I want to solve for, because I'm helping them understand that traveling with family, the family persona is going to be high value addition. It is, they have higher purchasing capacity and they have a higher margin within the products that travel journey can cater to. So I'm going to focus on this as my key persona, and I want to design some of the aspects or capabilities in the journey app which other travel app competitors are not able to provide at this time. Some of the aspects that I think Meta can bring because of the global scale and scope that they have today, especially because of 3 billion plus monthly active users that across the globe, that's going to help them get into the market, penetrate the market faster and very effectively. Safety and security, I think, is a big pain point out there, and that's why I think solving safety and security is going to take them the extra mile and make them very successful and actually resonate with how they can use their edge of global scale and scope towards improving their product and actually engaging their customers in a much more unique way than any other player out there in the market today. MapQuest is another key idea I want to talk about. So give digital guidance where that's going to be very highly scalable versus having somebody over a phone or on a chat. That's going to be difficult to scale, meaning you can't. There are only a limited number of people you can hire, and maybe even integrate AI to help solve this problem. So these are the key pain points, some holes or roadblocks and or pitfalls. Then you can go back and solve for why there is low engagement. That's when you can pivot your focus on to understanding the reasons of low engagement and bringing the customer back up to speed and help them go have a smooth customer journey through the journey app that you're trying to design. Okay, that's all for today. I think this was very helpful for me. I do want to use this app going forward for my presentations, and interviewers could be very excited if you can depict a picture. I know, given the very short duration of the interview, it is very difficult to actually draw an image and make it effective. That's the extra mile I want to achieve in my interviews or in my presentations with my client. Hope this was helpful, and we'll connect again with some more useful content using generative AI. Thank you.